Israel expanded its military assault deeper into the northern Gaza Strip as the UN and medical staff expressed fears over airstrikes hitting closer to hospitals where tens of thousands of Palestinians have sought shelter alongside thousands of wounded. Relief workers said the largest convoy of humanitarian aid to arrive in Gaza still fell far short of needs. Today, the Hamas movement ruling Gaza released a video purporting to show 3 women captured during its October 7 attack inside Israel. One of the women delivers a brief statement, likely under duress, criticizing Israel's response to the hostage crisis. Let's listen to what the hostage has to say.
ביבי נתניהו שלום, אנחנו נמצאים בשבי החמאס 23 ימים. אתמול הייתה מסיבת עיתונאים עם משפחות החטופים. אנחנו יודעים שהייתה אמורה להיות הפסקת אש, היית אמור לשחרר את כולנו, התחייבת לשחרר את כולנו, ובמקום זה אנחנו נושאים במחדל הפוליטי, ביטחוני, צבאי, מדיני שלך, בגלל הפשע הזאת שעשית ב7 לאוקטובר, בגלל שלא היה צבא שם, אף אחד לא הגיע, אף אחד לא שמר עלינו, ואנחנו אזרחים תמימים, אזרחים שמשלמים מיסים למדינת ישראל, נמצאים בשבי, בתנאים לא תנאים. אתה הורג אותנו, אתה תהרוג, אתה רוצה להרוג את כולנו, אתה רוצה עם צה"ל להרוג את כולנו, לא מספיק טבחת בכולם, לא מספיק אזרחים ישראלים נהרגו, שחרר אותנו עכשיו, שחרר את האזרחים שלהם, שחרר את האסירים שלהם, שחרר אותנו, שחרר את כולנו, תן לנו לחזור למשפחות שלנו עכשיו!
Hamas and other militants captured around 240 people during the deadly raid and have said they will release them in return for thousands of Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Israel has dismissed the offer. 2 U.S. senior defense officials briefing reporters at the Pentagon on Monday said that from October 17 to October 30, U.S. and coalition forces were attacked at least 14 times in Iraq and 9 times in Syria by a mix of drones and rockets for a total of 23 attacks. The officials said many of the drones and rockets were intercepted and failed to reach their targets. Bases housing U.S. troops in Syria and Iraq have come under rocket and drone attacks over the past weeks as tensions rise in the region over the Israel-Hamas war. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris had said that Washington has absolutely no intention to send combat troops to Israel or Gaza. Israel has a thing to defend itself, but the Palestinians deserve equal measures of safety and security, Harris said during an interview with CBS. Stressing on the importance to differentiate between Hamas and Palestinians, she said, a terrorist organization, Hamas, slaughtered hundreds of young people at a concert. By most estimates, at least 1,400 Israelis are dead. Israel, without any question, has a right to defend itself. Palestinians deserve equal measures of safety and security, and there should be no conflation between Hamas and Palestine. However, the rules of the war must be adhered to. On Sunday, US President Joe Biden spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on the flow of aid into Gaza and importance of protecting civilian lives. As the Israel-Hamas war threatens to widen into other regions, Global Affairs Canada says the government is not guaranteeing assisted departure for citizens who may want to leave Lebanon and is again encouraging immediate evacuation via commercial flights. In an update Sunday evening, GSA said it sent a message to Canadians with close ties to Lebanon via diaspora media in Canada about the deteriorating situation in Lebanon. But it noted that Canadians here should not rely on assisted departure or evacuation flights. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly told Canadians in Lebanon to get out last week, saying commercial flights were still available. Joly said, "My message to Canadians in Lebanon is first, you need to come home. This is the time to leave, and I have been saying this for many days, but my message is the same. There are still commercial options available. Canadians should get out." Canada's ambassador to Lebanon, meanwhile, said last week that the embassy feels prepared to aid the more than 17,000 Canadians who have registered in Lebanon with evacuation plans. GSE said Sunday Canadians abroad should not rely on government intervention for assisted departure or evacuation, saying that the best time to leave a country is before a crisis, if at all possible. The government said that in the event of an assisted evacuation, which it says is a rare occurrence. Government-aided departures in Lebanon will be only available to Canadian citizens and permanent residents, as well as their accompanying spouse, dependent children, or in the case of a minor, their accompanying guardian. The GSE also said that valid travel documents would be required for an assisted departure. The World Bank reported Monday that oil prices could be pushed into uncharted waters if the violence between Israel and Hamas intensifies, which could result in increased food prices worldwide. The World Bank's commodity markets outlook found that while the effects on oil prices should be limited if the conflict doesn't widen, the outlook would darken quickly if the conflict were to escalate. The attack on Israel by terrorist organization Hamas and the ensuing Israel military operation against Hamas have raised fears of a wider Middle East conflict. The Palestinian death toll in the Israel-Hamas war exceeds 8,000 according to Health Ministry in Gaza. In the occupied West Bank, more than 110 Palestinians have been killed in violence and Israeli raids. More than 1,400 people in Israel have been killed, most of them civilians slain in the initial Hamas rampage that started the fighting October 7. In addition, 239 hostages were taken from Israel into Gaza.